We really appreciate everyone making the effort to come out today to the Lykes Ranch for the ribbon cutting for our Brighton Valley water project. I know there's some people that I'm going to miss. I'm having a hard time recognizing everybody with the masks on today, but I know I saw Drew Bartlett here with the Water Management District, and Charlotte Romans here with the Water Management District as well. Ben Butler, former governing board member, I know has joined us out here today. Colonel Polk, thank you for coming. Appreciate you being here representing the Army Corps. Senator Albritton is here. Appreciate him coming out today. I know we've got a couple of county commissioners. I saw County Commissioner Ahern's here today and Commissioner Tuck. Bonnie, appreciate you being here on behalf of the Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services. Been a great partner in this. And Paul Gray with Audubon. I saw Paul earlier. Dr. Sanjay Shukla with UF, done a great deal of research on these water projects over the years. Gene Lawless back there in the back with the Florida Cattlemen's Association. Hillary Swain, I see Hillary back here with Archibald, done a great deal of the data collection on over the years on these projects. So just a wonderful group of people here today. I know just from looking at the crowd, a lot of you drove over from the coast today, and we want to welcome you to Florida's heartland. Everybody here knows Florida's growing tremendously. We're adding about 1,000 people a day, 1,000 people a day to this state, a city about the size of Tallahassee every year. And a lot of them aren't coming here, thankfully. But a lot of them are coming, they want to either live near the coast or live near the mouse. And that's putting a lot of pressure on a lot of our resources here in Florida. And projects like this that can get built quickly and economically and integrated into this cattle operation that we have here on the Lykes Ranch is just a win-win for everybody. And we just thank you all for coming out today. If you've had a good glass of orange juice or a good glass of milk or a great steak, there's a good chance it started within about an hour's drive of right where you're standing today. And we're proud of that agriculture heritage. We're proud of these natural resource projects here on the ranch, and we appreciate you all coming out to celebrate this with us today. Got a handful of speakers. We're going to start off with Noah Hanley. Noah's our Director of Engineering and Land Management for Lykes Brothers. Tell you a lot more about the project here. So thank you for coming out today.
Thank you all for giving me the opportunity to have a cool project like this to build. I mean, because at the end of the day, without many people here, I wouldn't have the opportunity to stand up here and welcome you all and talk about the project. At the end of the day, this project is our third project from that we've got on the ranch that takes in regional water, treats it and stores it, and then releases it back to the system. This project here, it's been a long brainchild. We've been working on it or a project here for many years, but ultimately from the time we started permitting to the time we were able to start operations was just under 5 years, and that's one of the things that we pride ourselves in is the ability to make these projects come online fast and give real benefits to the regional system. The other thing that we are proud of is that it's a very cost-effective means of treating regional water, and we keep it on the tax roll for the local community, because we're in a community that frankly every little bit of tax roll that we have counts for our community. So one of just a few of the things that we're very proud of. This project's about 8,000 acres. It has the ability to remove up to 3 metric tons a year of phosphorus from going into Lake Okeechobee. Has the ability to treat up to 95,000 acre-ft per year. So it's one of our very shining examples of something that we're proud of, providing a project that makes it better for the regional system. So with that, I want to introduce Johnny James, our President and CEO, say a few words on behalf of Lykes Brothers. Thank you.
Thank you, Noah. Well, I can see one of the advantages of speaking is you get to take your mask off, so a big plus. I want to add my welcome to Joe's welcome and thank everyone for coming out today to Lykes Ranch and specifically the Brighton Valley Water Project. All of us at Lykes Brothers are excited about the completion of our third water project and the fact that it adds great value to enhancing water quality here in South Florida. For those of you that don't know much about Lykes Brothers, we are family owned. We're 120 years old. We're into our 6th generation now. And from the very beginning, we've always had a high priority for stewardship of the land and also water. As you look out today, and you'll see many of the features of old Florida, and that's prevalent across much of the land that we own here at Lykes Brothers. I'm very proud of our tradition here at the company to partner with governmental agencies to solve public problems like water. Today we're celebrating a long relationship that we've had with the South Florida Water Management District, but we've also partnered with other state agencies and universities, local schools and local communities. So we take a lot of pride in our community and like to partner and give back. This project has been part of a long journey, and so I'd like to recognize 2 of my predecessors who are here today who really both shared in the vision of establishing water projects as a positive for Lykes Brothers and a positive for the state, and that's Mike Carrere and Charlie Lykes. Both of these men have been instrumental in setting the vision for the company in terms of water projects, and so I just want to thank both of you for your vision and for your leadership that gets us to where we are today. I would like to share a little more insight into our priorities at Lykes Brothers. Recently, we spent a little time with the employees and our directors to revisit our purpose statement in terms of what's important to us and what do we stand for. And after about 6 months, a lot of input, we settled on the following. At Lykes Brothers, we're rooted in family and respect for the land. We pioneer growth to nourish our communities and seed future generations. So from my perspective, Brighton Valley is a great example of our purpose. It's our third water project, and we're proud of our role in helping bring this about because it really adds to the cleaning up of Lake Okeechobee. It also, if you tie it back to our purpose statement, it demonstrates our respect for the land and our goal of seeding future generations. As Joe alluded to, historically we've run cattle on this property, but I think this is a much better use for both us and for the state. We know from prior experience with our other water projects, Nicodemus and Waterhole, that this type of project will be great for the lake. It's going to be great for the plant life. It's going to be great for wildlife and for birds. So all this makes it good for Florida and for Lykes Brothers. So with bringing the Brighton Valley project online, we now, as Noah alluded to, we have 26,500 acres of our property in proven, cost-efficient, shallow water storage projects, and we're very, very proud of that. All of us at Lykes are proud of our contributions to enhancing water quality in Florida. I'd like to close by thanking some important partners that helped bring today about. First, I want to start with the Florida Department of Agriculture for the funding, for the development and the permitting. I want to thank Governor DeSantis and Secretary of DEP Noah Valenstein for your support and your input, for the Florida Legislature for your recognizing the value of these types of projects and making sure that their bills contain the funding for them. And then I'd also like to thank, most importantly, our ongoing partner, the South Florida Water Management District, who we've enjoyed such a strong working relationship with over many, many years. So next I'd like to invite Senator Ben Albritton to say a few words. Thank you.
So this is a no mask zone. Is that how this works? Good morning, everyone. Good morning. It's good to see you here today. So one of the downsides of being a speaker, third, fourth, fifth in line, is that most all your talking points get taken care of by the first people that come up here. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to talk with you just for a second about perspective as we're thinking about this. Perspective. Years ago, Florida agriculture, they began to develop using science and using common sense and using good technology, began to pursue best management practices. Those were practices that we could recognize as farmers. I'm a 4th generation citrus grower myself, proud of it. But these are practices that we can develop and put into place on our farms and on our ranches that help us lower our impact on the environment. Why? So why is that important, right? Why did we even really, at the end of the day, spend the time, the resources, and the energy to be able to develop best management practices, because what farmers understand at their core is they cannot grow any crop, raise any cattle. They can't do any of that if they're out of balance with nature. Can't happen. If they screw the soil up, they're not going to be able to grow the crops, right? If they don't manage their water well, they're not going to be able to grow the crops. If they don't take care of their environment, they're not going to be able to be sustainable. The second piece of this, which was interesting to me to watch, is the evolution, is my time in Tallahassee, is the pursuit of really interesting public-private partnerships, right? Being able to empower the private sector to be able to keep their land in place and be able to be adequate and responsible partners with government to solve the problems we have. What's the big problem we have right now, right in this region? Not just here, but south of the lake, is water quality, right in Lake O. So what we've seen is these public-private partnerships offer us the opportunity to utilize the technology, the common sense, and all of those things we developed through the best management practices, and now implement that with these common sense ideas on how to create water quality enhancements in this region. But why is that important? Because I can tell you this. Looking at the development of how farmers have been coming to the table, being accountable, being responsible, being thoughtful, I mean really good, diligent partners with government to help solve these problems, and watching the evolution of that all the way through BMPs and up until these types of projects, it makes me excited. It makes me excited to think about what's the next step, right? 25 years ago, this kind of stuff wasn't popular, but we see today the value. What are we going to see the value in next, right? And where are we going to give farmers the opportunity to be that good partner, to be that good steward, to show that environmental stewardship that's made Florida farmers famous in the world? Where are we going to give them the next opportunity? So I would just encourage you to remember, giving farmers that opportunity may be the biggest choice we ever make. Thank you.
Good morning. This is a great day. It's a great day to have people gathered around in an incredible location to celebrate an incredible project. And it's great to see so many friends and colleagues in 3 dimensions instead of 2 dimensions, which I've gotten used to, but don't like. About less than 2 years ago, 2 days after taking office, Governor DeSantis signed an executive order for our water resources in South Florida. And in that executive order, he challenged us in South Florida to complete 29 projects, complete or expedite 29 specific projects. This was one of those projects he said we need to get done. And we wouldn't be in a situation where we're talking about getting that project done without the Lykes family coming forward and saying, we've got 8,000 acres of land that could do a lot of good work for our water resources in the state of Florida. And from that moment forward, a partnership was forged to create what you're seeing today, which I am excited to turn on. I mean, when I see pumps like this, they're shiny, there's no dust on them, no scratches, no rust. That's a thing of beauty. And I've got a lot of pumps that I look at in the South Florida Water Management District. So what we're going to see today is restoration in action. 8,000 acres of land out here getting put to work for our environment and for water resources. Those 8,000 acres could tell all kinds of stories, from before Columbus arrived, to after Columbus arrived, to everything that's happened, the tradition, the history on those 8,000 acres. But now it's starting a brand new story. This brand new story is going to have a whole different set of things to talk about. The wildlife you're going to see on this property is going to be phenomenal. We've seen it in places like Nicodemus Slough, also thank you Lykes, and you're going to see it here. And so it's not only the water resources benefits, but it's the wildlife benefits, and I can't wait to see it in full operation with islands and water and wildlife rebounding and just coming and using it's going to be a wildlife spa. It's going to be incredible. And we're going to turn it on today. And it's going to operate for at least 10 years, and then we'll keep thinking about whether it will continue operating, because it's going to be probably an iconic feature in this part of the state going forward. And so thank you very much, Lykes family. Thank you, Governor DeSantis, for seeing it's important. Thank you, Senator Albritton, for you and your colleagues for saying, hey, this is good enough. We need to fund this thing, fund this program. It's all of us working together that makes it happen. And let's get to turning it on. And I would love to ask the Lykes family to turn on this because if it wasn't for them, this wouldn't be happening. So, Charlie, let's turn this thing on.
There you go, boss.
All right, here we go. Noah, we're going to find out if it works, right?
Yes, sir. There you go.
Is it working? I hear it.
Look out here to your left a little bit.
Watch this over here.
All right, good job, Noah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Good job, everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
No pressure.
Am I still on? Honestly, I've gotten to know Ben Butler over the past few months. A fabulous person, a fabulous representative for this area, and I would really like, Ben, if you don't mind, would you come up and say a few words for us on behalf of the South Florida Water Management District?
Thank you, Mr. Bartlett. Well, I'll say it. Mr. Collins already said it, but I'll say it again. Welcome home to the Heartland. I feel like I can say that because I lay down. I put my head to sleep every night about 6 miles from here, that direction, and every morning I go to work about 4 miles from here, on my family's farm where we ranch and farm. My family has shared a common fence line with the Lykes family for over 50 years, and now, I'll remind you that good fences make for good neighbors. And there have been several times that I've rode horseback on Lykes property without permission. I'm making myself guilty now, but trying to round up a bull or cow that's jumped the fence. And there are many times that I wish that fence was taller and stronger. And now I'm sure there's many times now that Lykes family wishes that fence was taller to keep the Butler boys out. But and Mallory, you laugh, but Dad reminds me many times of Mr. Charlie riding horseback along that fence with his long hair and his flip-flops on. But Dad tells those stories. But in all seriousness, we are happy and privileged to be neighbors with the Lykes family, especially on a day like today. Thank you all for being here to showcase the latest progress being made in restoring and protecting the northern Everglades, Lake Okeechobee, and ultimately our coastal estuaries, central and southern Everglades, all by reducing the wet season flows and improving water quality. It wasn't too long ago that I found myself drinking from the fire hose as a newly appointed governing board member, and I thought coming into it as a farmer, I knew a lot about water supply, about nutrient reduction technologies, and flood control. But I quickly learned about the Comprehensive Everglades Restoration Project, SERP. And the fact that this SERP project, the planning has been going on for well over 20 years. And we just are getting to the point that we're turning dirt on these projects. Ultimately, these SERP projects, with their water quality components, will drastically reduce the unwanted discharges to the east and west coast estuaries, improve the Lake Okeechobee ecology, and invigorate the Everglades with year-round water. But these projects are meant to last forever, and they take time to build. Under Governor DeSantis' leadership,
our legislature and federal partners are drastically increasing the funding for these projects. They're going to come online sooner than expected, but they still take time. These public-private partnerships, like Brighton Valley that we've now fired up, are an important tool to achieve temporary, meaningful results today. While the permitting process is just as vigorous as the permanent projects and long-lasting projects, with willing private partner landowners and fewer dollars to complete, we can make meaningful differences a lot faster, and these projects stay on the county tax rolls, contribute to the local economy, and provide habitat for wildlife, things that we've heard over and over again this morning. When Mr. Charlie turned the pumps on here to Brighton Valley, it joined two other Lykes Brothers projects, dispersed water projects, in reducing phosphorus and nitrogen going into Lake Okeechobee. And also, it took a 1/4 foot off the top of Lake Okeechobee. 3 inches does not seem like much. Today, Lake Okeechobee has just crossed 15 feet. We're within 7/10 of a foot of the intermediate subband. We're 3/10 of a foot out of the foot below intermediate subband window, where things start happening and considerations to sending more water east and west begin to happen. 3/10 of a foot and 3 inches are pretty close in my mind. These projects make a big difference. We all must do our part to protect Florida's water, and looking around today, I see we are. On my family's farm, we strive to do our part every day to control nutrient use and runoff in our agricultural practices, to be good stewards of the land and good neighbors to South Florida. Thank you, Governor DeSantis, for doing your part in providing the leadership. Thank you to the legislature for doing your part in providing the perspective and the funding. Thank you to the South Florida Water Management District for doing your part in supporting and working to bring these projects online. And more importantly today, thank you to Lykes Brothers and the other landowners who are doing their part by partnering with the public and allowing the use of their land to achieve more for the environment today. Congratulations.